Hello, hello! We have another new chapter of One Piece after a brief break last week. We are back at this crazy revelatory arc. Last week we kind of finally pushed towards some sort of major conflict that I think is going to actually drive the arc forward. Otherwise, there's no reason the Straw Hats can't just sit around pontificating and speculating with Vegapunk for weeks and eventually arriving at the truth of the history of the world of One Piece. Now the pressure's on. CP0 is gunning down at them. We still have a lot of internal conflict between Bonnie and Vegapunk, and Kuma might be on his way in some sort of semi-autonomous state. It's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get way crazier before it ever settles down. We're starting off here with a cover page which really directly pertains to the main plot line. This cover story arc between seeing Pudding being captured by Blackbeard and Aokiji, and now this, the two major scientific enemies in the world of One Piece, instigators of each of their own arcs, coming in it with the power of science. Both Caesar Clown's insane disease experiments and Judge Vinsmoke's insane cloning experiments, now fighting with each other while thinking of back in the day when they worked for Vegapunk himself in this group MADS, which is some sort of world government scientific research institute, we could imagine. Anyways, not really sure how this is going to get resolved. It's just really funny that, like, the more we learn about Vegapunk's influence and the power he had over shady characters like this, the goofier and goofier Vegapunk becomes. Even just seeing his long, dangling tongue there and their obscured flashback bubble. It's just very comedic. Okay, let's get into this. Thank you for returning our Seraphim. Unit S-Bear is capable of returning on its own from here. Sure, okay. So this is their plan. Just, you know, thanks for the Seraphim. I guess they've been deploying these Seraphim to various Navy and world government institutions to do all sorts of dirty work. We saw that Cody had a few with them when they went to Amazon Lily. They're unhappy with this treatment. Well, come on, what did you expect? Has he figured us out? Mm-hmm. Some dry land with a cup of tea. Plus it's cold out here. I mean, this is like very unprofessional of CP0. Is it Kaku behind that mask? This kind of feels like something Kaku would do. Kaku, my beloved. He's just kind of a goofball. The egghead disappearance. Do you know who I mean? 2 months ago, a Cypher Pole number 5 ship went missing. 1 month ago, CP7. 2 weeks ago, CP8. All the government ships that have visited Egghead in the last 2 months have failed to return from the trip. Why is that? Ooh, okay. So Vegapunk very sketched out by CP0 because he thinks, oh, maybe the world government has learned that I know more than I ought to, and that I'm telling the Straw Hats and stuff. I'm prepared to share this information. An ally with pirates. Maybe, I assume Vegapunk has all sorts of weird schemes with Kuma and the revolutionaries, and is like, oh, maybe the world government has twigged on that. But I think what's really happening is the world government maybe doesn't even have a clue about any of this stuff, or just has very vague suspicions. But the real basis of their accusation and the reason that they're coming to investigate Vegapunk is because all these naval ships keep disappearing, right? Or not naval ships, but world government ships keep disappearing. And I think Vegapunk doesn't even know about that. I think he's speaking the truth here, that those ships peacefully sailed away from Egghead Island, and then some third factor, some third force. I don't know if it's Blackbeard, I don't know if it's the world government paranoid that Cypher Pole is being taught things that they shouldn't know, and is using some super weapon that only they have access to, probably Pluton, to annihilate these ships before they get any further. I think that one's most likely, but it could be any number of things. It could be something that we haven't even, like, considered as, like, a super relevant part of the plot. Edvard Weevil or something is just sinking them for the sport of it. But yeah, I think there's like a third factor here, and that CP0's suspicions are actually not on the mark. Just because I think that has the right kind of feeling of intrigue for this arc. This arc is all about information and spying and interception and kind of uncovering this grand conspiracy. So I think it's going to be a little more complicated. And I also think it's very likely, you know, world government acting even further in the shadows than CP0, because I think it's time for CP0 to have kind of like a rude awakening and realize, are we the baddies? or even if we knew we were the baddies, is it actually so much worse than we thought it was, as they get exposed to the truth of the world? And I'll tell you why I think that. I think we're destined for a Luffy-Lucci team-up. I'm sure they'll fight in this arc in some capacity. They'll have their revenge. We'll see how much stronger Lucci's gotten. Can he still keep pace with Luffy? But I feel like it's not in Oda's style to just bring back an enemy and have them just be the same type of enemy again. Oh, we're going to try to capture Robin again. Oh, we're just going to try to kill your crew again. We're going to try to stop the spread of information again. Like, there's going to be some additional twist, I think. Okay, anyways, this is all a lot of speculation based on this, like, first page. We gotta keep progressing. Okay. Yeah, all the different facets are in agreement. Yeah, and then Lilith completely forgets of the idea of making them go away. And is just like, yeah, come in, fuckers. Seraphim's S-Bear power to fly onto the island. Oh, so S-Bear... I thought S-Bear was one of these giant sea monsters, the sea robots, that was going to transport the Seraphim back. But S-Bear is what they refer to as the Seraphim. That makes sense. Yeah. S-Bear power to fly onto the island. Does that mean he has the Pawpaw Fruit as well? The Seraphim version? And that he can transport CP0 onto the island by pushing them? Because that would be crazy. If the Seraphim have the Devil Fruit powers of the person they're emulating, that would be so wild. I don't know. Why did Vegapunk make this? This thing is terrifying. You know, putting aside any, like, which side are you on? This is just way too terrifying to have all these little brat versions of the Shichai Bukai. The full Devil Fruit powers too, for real. Sea Beast weapons will devour the ship. Okay. Alright, so Kuma is running off of the island. As we thought, yeah, he just poofs himself with the Pawpaw Fruit. Probably heading to Egghead Island, I would imagine. As I said before, I feel like this arc is going to be super multi-purpose and condense a whole lot of plot development into this one location and into probably relatively few chapters. And one of the big stories we gotta learn is Kuma's story. Kuma and Bonnie's story. And I think we're gonna hear it firsthand. I'll take you out of here. Isn't this your lab? Every bit of research money I came from the government to carry out whatever experiments I fancy. My mind is overflowing with ideas. I don't have the time, the manpower, the funds to see them all to fruition. Okay, so I'm a little sketched out. Because right now he's saying, I want to give free energy to everyone. That sounds great. I need to get off this island and go somewhere where I can recruit more people to my cause and have a bigger impact. Okay, sure. But in the last chapter he said, I want to hook up everyone's brain to my brain and have kind of like a Vegapunk singularity moment where everyone can contribute to and learn from my thoughts. And it feels like these two ideas in his head might be kind of like one and the same. But the hooking up everyone to one brain idea is not Luffy's MO. It's not really the MO of any of the characters in this series. It really speaks against ideas of freedom and nonconformity and stuff. So I think Vegapunk might end up being like a super surprise villain here. That at first they agree to take him off the island and help, you know, expand his dreams and stuff, but like then they're like, oh, geez, maybe we have made a mistake. My ideal world through science. Okay. Luffy doesn't get it. I'm gonna give everyone something. Use is used to create energy, a constant source of war and squabbling between nations. All this positively brimming with it. Now this is amazing too. Because he's not just speaking abstractly here. I think he's literally speaking to the idea of a universal energy that exists in everything but can't normally be perceived or harnessed by people. Haki? Now, you know, you look at something like the Force being explained with midi-chlorians, and that's an example of a widely hated, poor choice in, like, scientificizing something that at first was very, like, spiritual and romantic and mysterious. So it's like, I don't know, but I think this is kind of neat. I wouldn't like it if they went so far as to say, yeah, there's, like, ethereous, hacky particles that exist in the atmosphere everywhere, and it's being generated by the devil fruit tree or something, if they go that far with the explanation. But I think if they were like, yeah, we're all kind of aware of this mysterious power Haki, and I think I can understand how to harness that and use it just as an energy resource, pulling it freely from everywhere. That's like very realistic in terms of how someone would actually see this information if they were like a gifted scientist in this world. This is all speculation, of course. There's no confirmation that what he's talking about is Haki yet. But that's my theory, and I'm like pretty intrigued. But at the same time, I think they got to do it right, or it can end up feeling very cheapening, like friggin' midi-chlorians. I love this shot too of him just being so awestruck with the existence of this energy and the future he sees and converting it. Like, when I say, oh, you know, he could be a surprise villain, I don't think he's evil. I don't think he's nefarious. I think he genuinely has what he thinks is humanity's best interests at heart. Which is what makes him such an interesting character. Which makes him such an endearing character. Oh. I just love, like, the additional explanation. And then he kind of, like, perks up for a second. And he hears them out. And then he's just like, no, I still don't get it. It's really good of you to try to make everyone happy. I'm not interested in heroes, though. Why do you want to leave this place? How do I start to find the energy I've been seeking? The closer I get to the power source, the move this machine soldier, the ancient energy that gave it strength. Okay, yeah. More and more I'm thinking this is Haki. You know? That it used to be that the people of the Kingdom of D were able to channel their Haki into controlling big mechs and stuff. Undo the veil, wrapped around the forbidden history. What might I find underneath? Carrying on my friend's will, I find myself treading further into the depths of... Which friend is this? Dragon? Nico Robin? Professor Clover? Saul? Any number. Carrying on my friend's will implies it's somebody that died, so it's probably Professor Clover. Okay. Big explosions. Yeah. This is a reasonable conclusion that CP0 is here to wipe him out. CP0. This is the first time Luffy's heard of CP0. He understands so much less of the plot than we do. It's worth remembering that sometime. Even though CP0 came and fucked up his fight with Kaido and almost caused him to lose, he still doesn't really know who that guy was. Now they're CP0. You don't mean CP9? They're above CP9. Whenever they're active, it says that world-shaking events are about to occur. You know, this guy that's acting, that I thought was Kaku, isn't really acting that much like Kaku. Because Kaku's, like, kind of weird. Like, doing stuff like trying to name his attacks during the fight with Zoro. And getting all pissed off when Zoro says his power is lame. But that's, like, his gap. Normally he's, like, pretty stoic, you know? He's pretty reserved and stuff. So now I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's a fake out. Like, the nose is a fake out, and Kaku is, like, someone else. I don't know. Him saying, "Oh, what a lark" at this future Metropolis or whatever. Anyways, I think it's pretty reasonable for Vegapunk to think, "Oh, they're coming to wipe me out because of what I've studied." But I think they're more just like, why are all these ships disappearing? And Vegapunk himself is not aware of that either. Okay, so here they are. They're dazzling white suits. Still accompanied by... Who are these guys? These guys in their like little pork pie hats that just have like a big gun. And all the CP divisions seem to just have them en masse. And it's just sort of weird because the actual CP agents are like so highly trained and qualified and like sworn to the utmost secrecy. And then they just have these like fodder rubes hustling after them. So, you know, for the purposes of fight scenes, so there can be some fodder enemies that get blown away. But it's just kind of strange. Like, who are these guys? They're not in CP0, I don't think. Anyways. All the future citizens... I still don't really understand who these people are. Are they also aspects of Vegapunk? I don't think so. But are they real people? Are they robots? Okay, but they're freaking out. Cypher Pol is here. They didn't come through the port. The sea beast weapons are destroyed. They're freaking out. Nami's freaking out. So they're devouring their ship by the coast. Seems refused our suggestion. Pawpaw Fruit's powers reach island. Okay, makes sense. Okay, yeah. The Robo Duo, I think, has reached a good conclusion. Evacuate the researchers and workers. Send Atlas back to the lab. Seraphim's S-Snake, S-Hawk, and S-Shark. Cool names! Oh, Sentomaru's here! Sentomaru! Oh my god, dude, I really like Sentomaru. I think it's just like a really cool design. And the idea that like he's sort of like based on, you know, the Peach Boy, Momotaro of Japanese lore. And that he seems like a minor character. You just knew from the start that he was going to be a bigger deal. And like, now he's finally back after like 600 plus chapters. That's so exciting. 600 plus? No, it's like 500 plus. Because I remember the Sabori kind of really kicks into high gear at like chapter 500. And he showed up probably like chapter 510 or something. Anyways, that's super exciting. I also like how the fact that all the Shichibukai are like animal themed. Whoops. Kind of like comes back into play here with the code names. I think that's really fun. So S-Snake, of course, is what's her face? Boa Hancock. S-Hawk is Hawkeye, and S-Shark, of course, is Jinbei, who they were already fighting. I pack up my belongings. My Rayquaza about to see with you. I'm going on a picnic, mister. Appearance to be an international scandal. Sure, why not? Your head looks funny. Okay. So he's like, let's go. Okay, so what's interesting is, I thought at first maybe he was doing this secretly without the approval of the other Vegapunk aspects. And I thought maybe the other Vegapunk aspects have been, like, corrupted or something. Like, they have sworn some fealty to the world government, or, like, the condition of their creation had something to do with them being loyal to the world government. But less and less I'm thinking that. More and more I'm thinking they're probably all on board with head Vegapunk heading out to sea. Okay, so this is exciting. They're going to, like, fight their way up to the Labo phase. We're going to probably learn some more, and Kuma backstory stuff will happen there. And then I think it's going to be a thrilling, nail-biting escape. Or, I don't know, I guess... I feel like I've proposed several theories of which way this arc will go, and all of them are kind of in conflict. I'm hedging my bets. So, let's see. See you up there. Yeah, he has some weird, like, phasing powers, right? Like, the first time we saw him, he actually clipped into the ancient warrior robot thing. So, okay. They're fighting the hologram alien dragon. Lucci seems unamused. I think he gets what's up. It's a space monster. It's just a hologram, yeah. Stussy's been here before. There's two lines running across the cloud. Maybe it is Kaku. He's kind of acting like Kaku, because Kaku also loves jumping around and running around everywhere. I still think it's like one of the funniest jokes in the whole series. That everyone calls Kaku like a monkey. They say he acts like a monkey. He eats a devil fruit that looks like a banana. And then he gets the giraffe fruit powers. I think that's like honestly one of the funniest jokes. And it's never once explicitly mentioned. Nobody ever goes, bro, I thought you'd be a monkey. It's just so funny. Okay. It's 2 lines. Enemy crosses those lines, activates a laser beam. The Frontier Dome. Okay. It is Kaku. Okay. I don't know. I remember Kaku being a little more like stoic and stuff. Like, remember when he's talking to Usopp about the boat? And he's just like, yeah, it's the facts, man. You're gonna have to scrap it. And like the way he acts when they're arguing about power levels and stuff, power rankings, and Jabra's trying to like provoke him, and Kaku's just like, I don't care. I don't know. I suppose people can change in a number of years. Could have warned him first. Got a heart of ice in there, Stussy. Stussy's so funny. Okay. So yeah. CP0 having a hard time getting up there. I like how they're almost in like a protagonist position here. That we know them. We don't like them necessarily. Well, I really like Kaku. But we are seeing the defensive forces of Egghead Island like through their eyes, you know? It really allows like that kind of like what has Vegapunk prepared to keep people out. We get to explore that in a way that we wouldn't if, you know, they didn't have such a protagonist sort of energy, if we didn't like really understand their power levels and capabilities and stuff. Okay. Oh boy. Atlas, what are the Vegapunks? Ooh, Atlas versus improved Lucci. Who's stronger? We don't really know how strong Lucci is anymore. But we also have no idea how strong the Vegapunk strength aspects of Atlas is. Oh boy, yeah. Oh boy, yeah, that's not good. That's, oh boy. That's not good. Now, Lucci and Luffy have made contact. What's gonna happen next? I don't think we're gonna have like huge major epic fight right now. Maybe just a quick skirmish before Luffy kind of realizes. And this would be kind of maybe, I don't know, a sign of Luffy's growth in perspective as a captain. That he recognizes he can't just be fighting Lucci all day, but he has other stuff to do. We'll see, we'll see. I'm very excited, of course, to keep reading this. I don't think we're on break next week, hopefully. But there will be a break over New Year's, so. Alright, good stuff. Let's look forward to it. Bye-bye.